to our already to our already added pile. Officially, these are the first 2 pieces of furniture we brought in. We took the bar stools from down in our basement because we needed a place to sit and rest our feet and our legs for a while. So, first pieces of furniture in our new house. So now that I moved everything into the garage to empty out spaces from our house, I need to move it into the house because the first project we are working on is our garage. So brought a couple of resin tables to set up to do some work in the garage. Yeah, I don't know. It's a garage, I know y'all, but little spaces like this, well, this isn't a little space. This is a big space. It needs painted. Well, it needs cleaned, then painted. But first it needs to be decluttered. There was so much clutter in here that we needed to get rid of. So these are just the leftover pieces that the original homeowner had done the construction of their house, the little details. So we are going to walk it all the way out to the barn where we're storing all the wood. And then we will go through it one by one to see what we can salvage, what we can reuse. We don't need these wood holders here, but they will be nice somewhere else. That's just not what we envisioned for the garage. And then the piece of pegboard will go ahead and come down too. Yet again, we'll save it. We'll put it in the hoard of wood that we have found around the property. We'll find another use for it, I'm sure. And I'm glad that they added this little half bath inside the garage. That'll be great. It has an awesome sink for rinsing out paintbrushes and things like that. Great for storage, as Chris is finding more of their construction supplies up there. But I think it'll be great for some totes. And this cubby will be great for something in the workshop too. So we're going to get that moved out there. Watch it. There's a screw hanging to the top of it. That's through it. Are you taking it to the pole barn or to the...
Yeah.
So this would be our first piece of furniture in the workshop. Well, the shelf that they left is actually in there, but that's going to be taken apart. But yes. And I don't know why there was a zillion nails, screws, every different type of screw heads possible if they wanted to tack something up. We had a whole container of screws and nails. You just never know. They had a reason. People always have a reason for what they are doing. So yes. So first off, the prep is to get rid of all of these or get these out of this plywood.
2 for 1.
So we got that much. We got decluttered, denailed, screwed, any little parts that we didn't see any need. There were things hanging off the ceiling also. So now, de-dust, there's so many spider webs, so many dust bunnies, but yes, so eventually he'll take down the ceiling fans, but for right now, we're not going to deal too much with that. There's so many random hooks, but we're not going to be using these light fixtures in here. We're going to be using the ones off of Amazon. So when he's up on the ladder taking those down, he'll go ahead and take down any of those hooks. And then, like any paint job, now I'm going to go around and we're going to work on taking off all the switch plate covers. And then, as you see, yes, they still have the price tags on them. But I like that they're metal. I think that's a neat look. I've never dealt too much with metal switch plate covers. But yes, they're going to need a good bath. The inside needs a good dusting. And then I'll get those taped off, protect it, because he'll be using the sprayer to spray the walls of the garage. House doesn't have central air, but it does have this holy macaroni of air conditioner unit that fits in one of the windows. And we thought it was going to be super heavy, but actually it's just big and kind of awkward. We haven't put it in the window yet. So now Chris is in the garage, so let's check out what he's doing. So what he's doing is he's taking away that storage unit, taking it apart to be able to use the piece of plywood, because there's some missing plywood in the garage, and then he'll use the plywood and cut it down to fill in those gaps. You can always reuse wood. So that's what he's doing right now. If you have, what is it, arachnophobia, there's so many stinking spiders out here, y'all. If you just,
Luckily, we're getting home
right
by
there,
exterminator guy.
right there. Yep. If you're scared of spiders, this is not the job for you. But that's why we pay an exterminator. And I don't know if y'all noticed, but every door still had its stickers on it. And y'all know how I feel about price tags. So there I go, around with my little razor blade, getting all the stickers off the doors. This is me. OCD? I don't know. Oh, these or something. I don't know. That's the one nice thing about that we haven't sold our house yet. We've had a few lookers, but no takers yet. We can just slowly take a piece there, trying to not make the house look completely empty. But I did have a lot of collections, so getting those wrapped up, boxed up, and carried to the new house.
Cast iron unbreakables! Just like putting some hand goods in with your bread items at the grocery store.
Picking up my babies. Not very many more to go. No.
You want to do these too?
Yeah. Not very many more to go at all. No.
It's a hodgepodge.
Yep, every time we go back to our old house, we bring a new pile to the new house. That's just how it works. Usually both vehicles get filled. So now Chris is just trying to figure out how to take these ones were nice. They weren't in electrical. They were actually just plug-in also. So there's lots of plug-ins in the ceiling, which is nice to be able to do the Amazon ones. Some of those lights just yellow over time, and we want just a little bit crisper of a lighting system. And the Amazon ones you can run like a whole bunch on top of each other, so just put it to one switch so they all come on, instead of like this right now there's multiple ones come on with multiple switches. So just want it to be a little bit easier. And I'm not really sure how much scrubbing you can actually do on plywood. We're just getting the cobwebs down, getting it as dust free as we possibly can. The doors were never painted, so any staining going on. I just washed them off with, Dawn dish soap and hot water, but it didn't come on. So I'm going to go ahead and try some Barkeeper's Friend, my friend, to try to get this really bad dark grime off these doors. Chris is using a Graco sprayer. Now this is a beast of a sprayer, and we first bought it when we started trying out sprayers for furniture painting, but quickly realized that it says it's made for a gallon of paint, but it just sucks up that gallon of paint really fast. So we're using a 5-gallon of paint for this job, and that works a lot better. It was just a massive of a sprayer. So we used it early on in our flipping days, but realized it just was a little bit too industrial for just small pieces of furniture. So they actually insulated this garage with spray foam, so there was no need to add insulation, take down the plywood, add drywall or anything like that. So since it's insulated, this is the way it's going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and start scrubbing on all these outlet covers. Oh my goodness, yes, that is the bucket that is filled with screws and hardware and all the stuff that we had to take off the plywood to paint. But I'm going to go ahead and just use some Dawn dish soap. Hopefully these are white ones came off of the ceiling where the lights were plugged in, so let's hope they come clean. It's amazing what just a little bit of scrubbing will do. Now we didn't have to buy replacements, and they're nice and white again. While Chris is finishing up or working on actually spraying the garage, I'm going around and spraying some weed control. Every one of the buildings, they had laid these stones around, which is nice, but unfortunately with the weeds and all that, you can't see them, and we had seen where there's been a lot of damage on the siding and stuff from the lawnmower hitting these. So first steps first is I'm going to go ahead and go around all the odds and ends with some weed killer to kill off the weeds so we can see about these rocks. So Chris sprayed as much as he could, but there's always that hand detailing they have to go back and do around the doors. We didn't want to spray the metal of the doors or any of the garage door opener hardware or anything like that. So yep, just some hand detailing is what we have to do now. And we're really just giving it a fresh coat. It took 10 gallons of paint. You heard me. 10 gallons of paint just to give everything one coat. And I scrubbed and scrubbed these doors with Barkeeper's Friend, but it did not come clean, so I'm giving them a fresh coat. The other ones have some aluminum insulation on them that I have to deal with, but for right now I'm not really even sure because it's a hard plastic on the outside of this for those holes, but just giving it a fresh coat of paint for right now. Look at the huge difference. Oh my goodness. And that was cleaning. It just did not come clean. So at least one coat of paint freshened it and brightened it right up. I was working my way up, so when I get on the ladder, I'll touch up the rest of that beam that needs to be painted. So now that we got the walls and the ceiling painted, the trim painted, now it's on to the floor. the floor was so stained. Not only was it stained, but for some reason it was pitty. The cement had wore away where they had drove over it. I don't really know what happened there, but so we did our best that we could to try to clean it, and it just wasn't going to come clean. So so we made the decision just to use cement paint on it. So we purchased 4 gallons because we knew the pittiness was going to be very absorbent to the paint and suck it in. And then you have all these cracks and whatnot that you're trying to cover up. This paint I've used before, and I do like it. I know that like the lady was like, well, don't you want to epoxy your floor? I'm like, oh my gosh, we did our floor at our other house. And we know the prep that it takes when it is not new cement laid, with the cleaning and the etching, and then the filling in. You have to fill in all those cracks, and and then this floor, as you see where Chris is standing right now, it is so pitted. It is just like a rock garden right there. There's no smoothness whatsoever, and that just was eating up the paint. Terrible. We ended up having to go back and get another gallon. So 5 gallons later. So 15 gallons of paint so far on just a garage. So this is what it looks like before we went and got the other gallon. I'm like, just roll it out. We'll go back to Menards again because you want to get the same color lot. But where the smooth surface was, it was wonderful. But then where the pittiness was, you can tell that we still needed to go over it with at least another gallon, so it wasn't so obvious. So y'all, yes, I know. I don't know how much more can you watch us clean, but that is part of this journey. The house is clean. Not all parts of your home, which I consider everything that you own your home, do people clean. So that's just part of what Chris and I do. We just like every little space, even though it may be congested like our workshop, and you may see sawdust, and that's just going to happen. But cobwebs and spiders and creepy crawlies, we just had to get, we need that surface to be clean so we can go in and do what we need to do to that. So thank you for watching part of the journey. I really appreciate all y'all supporting us in this way. And we will see you next time, guys, and you can see what we're up to. Bye.